Hey there, Facebook friends, fans, YouTubers. I've been getting asked this question quite a bit since I've been out playing, and it's usually from people who want to take up playing the guitar. And the thing that they ask me most is, how do I know what to buy? What should I look for in a beginner level guitar? And I always really don't really know how to really respond to that in the heat of the moment. I'm always like, well, go down to your shop and look around. But I've actually taken the time to think about it because I kind of went through the same thing at one point. And my biggest piece of advice that I think beginners should know, it's I can't really stress it enough, is before you even go to a shop and start looking, go on the internet. I mean, it's a wonderful tool. Go on to YouTube, go to some guitar sites, and spend a couple days researching guitars. Acoustic, electric, whatever you're planning on doing. And there's just so much information out there, it's mind-blowing. It won't be long before you actually know what constitutes a decent instrument versus a total piece of shit. And there's things such as the woods. There's all different kinds of woods these are made out of. There's the construction, whether it's a solid body, a ply. And I think that, that'll set you in the right, area, because when you go to these stores, they're going to say, oh yeah, well there's the beginner level stuff over there, and this is great for beginners, and this is a good company. And it's just going to blow your mind, because you're going to get in there and there's like so many different brands and companies. It's staggering. It's like, wow. And what one guy thinks might be the best thing for all beginners to start on might not in fact be your cup of tea. So I would say that the best thing too is you don't want to spend a whole lot of money, because you don't know if you're going to with anything, if you're going to try to take it up and learn it. I mean, it might not be your bag, and you don't want to go spend like a shitload of cash and buy the best guitar on the wall and then find out that it's not really something you're into. And then, because I'll tell you what, you're never going to get the money back that you put into it unless you're buying high-end stuff, and obviously you're not going to be doing that if you're a beginner. But you also, you don't want a total, piece of garbage, because it's kind of, I look at it, like if you're learning to drive a car, and your dad takes you out and gives you a driving lesson. I mean, if his brakes don't work, and it's got a bad front end, and it's pulling to the right or whatever, and he's telling you to perform these maneuvers you're trying to learn, you're not going to learn if the thing isn't performing right. It's going to actually hinder you from advancing. So you definitely got to wind up with a pretty good product to start off with. You got to make a fairly decent choice. And I think by spending a little time at finding out what consists of a good instrument is a good way to start. So that way, when you do get to a store where the guy's working on a commission, and you walk in, I mean, well, he sees you coming. You got a sign on your head. You're a new guy who wants to buy a guitar, and you're asking him, well, what do I get? Well, of course he's going to try to sell you. He's going to try to make a pretty good sale, because that's his paycheck. Um, I would suggest mom and pop shops, because I'm just a big advocate of that, of the you know, the local places, because they're definitely in it for the musician. A lot of these places are more in it for that, you know. I mean, not saying that places like the Guitar Center and big music malls aren't, but the unfortunate reality of it is most of the people who are there, well, you know, they're working on commission, so you know, you got to take that into light too. But I think another thing is if you grab a guitar off the wall and you start messing around with it and it feels good to you, if there's something about that guitar that just feels natural, you know, the sound of it, the way the strings feel, the comfortability of it, that's always been a big thing for me, you know. I mean, I've had some guitars that weren't, you know, highly valued guitars when I first started out. I mean, I had like some cheap Ovations, man, that were, you know, they were like celebrities and applauses and stuff like that, that were, you know, by no means a high-end guitar. And they just felt right to me, and they sounded great, and they basically were my kickstart to keep me wanting to play. And you'll move on to bigger and better things as you progress as a player, and you'll find what fits you, and it'll become your soulmate, and that's that. I mean, I can't stress enough that if a guitar feels good to you, then it doesn't matter what company it is, what the price tag is, what color it is. I mean, if it feels great, man, then go with it. Especially if you're a beginner. I mean, that's key. And if the price is right, and also by researching, you know, doing a little bit of research on the matter, you could actually find that you can get a lot of these guitars sometimes used for half the price that you're going to pay in a shop. And there's just so many brands. I mean, in the beginner level, I mean, if you're going to buy from a store, you'd better expect to pay anywhere from $300 to $500 for a pretty good beginner guitar, I would say, you know. And if it were me, and my house was burned down tomorrow, and I was shit out of luck, and I had, you know, just a handful of bills, I had to buy a guitar, I'd probably buy a Yamaha, because I like Yamaha. I mean, you can't fail with a Yamaha. It's a tried and true. It's an old company. They make some seriously nice guitars in the beginner range for like right around $300. I mean, you can't beat that, you know. And you got Art and Lutherie, you got Siegel. There's just there's all kinds of stuff out there. They've got low-end Martins out there that are decent. But I really think that doing research first, because you can ask people, professional guitar players, and I've had people come up to me and say, "Hey, I want to think about playing guitar. What should I get?" And they want an answer right now, you know. And I think, you know, well, I thought about it, you know, and I was like, you know what? I think the best thing to tell somebody in that position, rather than, because, you know, they're going to take whatever you say to heart, and they're going to go on that, and they're going to run right out and get snowballed somewhere. So I think the best thing is go online and research. The internet's a wonderful thing. I mean, shoot, you know, you'll know all the anatomy of what makes a good guitar in no time. And then, you know, you're going in armed, knowing, you know, what you should be paying, what you should be looking for. So I hope this helps out. And for all you guys that are considering taking up playing guitar, more power to you. Peace.